Hi there. Today is Sunday, October 3rd, which makes this the week 39 Return to Creativity update with your hostess, Jennifer Vanderbeek of scrapsoflife.com. How are you doing? Are you taking care of yourself? Are you taking time for yourself? Are you being good to yourself? I really hope so. Because even if you've never flown on a plane, which I hadn't until I was in my, late 20s, um, you've seen a movie, you've seen a show where they've talked about you have to put, in case of emergency, put the mask on yourself before you put it on someone else. Well, that goes for life too, and not just for emergency situations. You have to take care of yourself first so that you can be any good to the people around you that you want to take care of or you need to take care of. Because sometimes those aren't the same things, and we all know how that is. But ideally, to do the things you wanna do for those around you, you have to be at least, I mean, you don't have to be in top shape, but it helps. You do, however, you wanna be taking care of yourself so that you can take care of others if you so choose. So, with that said, how's your week been? How's mine been? Well, let me tell you. Um It's been a little bit of an emotional roller coaster thanks to, just stuff. I mean, it's just stuff. And, like Monday, I had a really good, I spent the afternoon meal prepping and then I went off to my first Book Babes book club meeting in, probably closer to, a year and a half, 2 years. Um, It was fabulous. I had a great time, and I'd been a little worried, but, yeah, I had a great time, and then, I don't know, Tuesday was rough. Tuesday was rough. I think, it's just kinda like the peaks and valleys. But, eventually I kinda got over it. Big news is I finished the Posh Pumpkins coloring book. Yep, it's all done. It is, up on Amazon. I believe I got the message this morning that it is actually available, but whether or not the actual link is fully alive and all of that, I don't know. But anyway, early this coming week, it should be orderable. And I think it's just adorable. I just do. And I'm gonna get back to that in just a minute. I kept up with my Twitch, streams this week. Used it, on Tuesday, I used it to, start the coloring for the covers, the front and back covers, and on Thursday, I worked on a, Mashable or Friday Mash challenge for one of the Twitch streamers that I, follow. She is Meg's Mashables, and she's so sweet and so creative, and her community is so wholesome and nurturing. But every week, on Friday, they'll pick random elements, through a poll, and, that becomes the new Mashy challenge. And so this week was what was it? It was oh my gosh, I've completely blanked, but I know, let me give me a second. So, I'm getting the previous weeks mixed up here. I can fix this because I can pull up the picture that I did, and since I'm gonna do that, I will show it over here somewhere. I gotta remember which side things are on. Um, but yeah, it's such a fun challenge, and what I love about it is it gives me, like, it's permission to play. Oh, that's right, it's the snooch. So this week's challenge was to combine a snail, a goose, and a witch. And, in chat, they had determined that this creature is called a snooch, and mine took a couple of, turns as I was working on it, and by the end, it was reminding me of, like, old illustrations for Mother Goose, so it became Mother Snooch, and instead of a broom to fly on, she's got a broomy board, and because it's a surfboardish, more construction, and I was worried that with no legs, she'd have a tough time balancing on just a simple broomstick. Yeah. Yeah, that just became a whole thing. But anyway, So that was Thursday's stream. You can, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, the video on demand feature on Twitch. So any of the recorded Twitch streams are available for 14 days afterwards. So if you want to go back and watch, they're usually about 2 hours. I don't adds up to y'all. But if you were curious and wanted to watch, it's there. So yeah, if you missed the streams, and then I did an extra stream on Saturday where I streamed the first the second Inktober drawing. And if you've been following me on Instagram, Facebook, or Twitch, no, TikTok, getting all of my socials confused, then you will have seen the first 2 days like speed draws. So yeah, that's been going well, and it's reminding me that hands are hard to draw. That's just a thing. And but otherwise, I'm pleased with the starting point, and I'm curious to see um, how things go as I progress through the month. Um, let's see, book wise, I started work on editing book 2. And so that, if it's anything like what happened when I was in Arizona when I edited book 1, it'll take maybe a week to get those edits in. And I had to start drawing like a little map because I'm talking about like the layout of downtown a little bit more. And so I'm like, okay, I got to make sure I remember where things are. So yeah, I started drawing a map as I was, and that's subject to change because like I had 2 stores together and it was like, oh no, the next paragraph or, the next section, whoops, there's an alleyway there. So let's put that in. So yeah. But yeah, so working on that. So I estimate about a week to get through. I mean, I made it through almost the first 10 pages. Let's see, first 9 so far. And a lot of that is fixing the fact that I forgot which point of view I was telling the story in when I started the rough draft for book 2. I forgot that I was using first person point of view instead of third. And so the first chunk of book 2 is written in third. So a lot of the fixes are watching for those. Um but that's okay. I mean, this is what happens. But speaking of editing, I got my first reader report back from a beta reader on book 1. And oh, when I say I was shaking and I was nervous when I opened that file, y'all, seriously, I was scared. I really was. I mean, I don't mean to make light of it because I really was. I was nervous. I'm like, "Oh, please don't tell me that I suck," you know? I mean, they wouldn't put it that way, but you oh gosh, but no, it was actually overwhelmingly positive. Yes, there are some things they pointed out that I need to fix, work on, take a look at, maybe revise, but they were not major things. I've felt from the beginning that I was good with dialogue, amusingly enough, since I trip over my words in common speaking. But yeah, for writing dialogue, I think I'm pretty good at it. I knew I was kind of bad at descriptions, so I knew when I edited that book, I had to go back in and put more descriptions in of like places. One of the things that I'd forgotten to do was describe the people more. So I need to put some character descriptions in. That's okay. I can work that in. That's not a big change. Um, but I was happy to see that this reader did not find any plot holes. Thank goodness. And gosh, just yeah. So and that the characters were relatable, and oh, it did my heart good. It was a good first reader response. Now, I was expecting to have a second one by now. But the day before it was due, the beta reader sent me an email. She's like, "I'm sorry, I have to cancel this order," because these were ordered. They were paid for beta readers. And um yeah, she's like, "I'm sorry, something's come up. I'm not gonna be able to fulfill this order." And I was like, "Well, Nikes, that's unfortunate." But I engaged another one, a replacement, because I had some backups in my list on Fiverr, and so, yeah, and it won't be, it still have to wait a week, but quality over speed. We are doing quality over speed. That is the way it's gonna work. But yeah, I am. So hopefully we'll have that sometime this week. And I have a beta reader exchange. We traded manuscripts with another one, and so I got to beta read for someone else, and they had a wonderful story. I just had a few like, I'm not sure what this means, or this is a little confusing kind of thing, and maybe we want to back off on that, but that's what a beta reader does. They give you the feedback, and you choose whether or not to take it. Because that's one person's opinion. That's why you get multiples. So I should have their feedback in kind within a couple of days. So I'll have at least, so by the end of next week, or by the next time we chat, I will hopefully have 3 beta reads under my belt for book one. And I actually won the services of a copy editor, thanks to an online book fair that I attended last weekend, that was specializing in cozy mysteries. Mostly, in this case, it was like paranormal or spooky um, cozy mysteries for the fall. And yeah, so I won a 10,000 word copy edit from one of the professionals that was participating in the fair. And so I'm hoping, I sent the email off on Friday, describing, what I needed, because my first beta reader did say that the first 20 pages of book one, and these are the formatted pages, so about the first 5,000 words, it was a little bit of a slow read. And both people I've told that to, they're like, "Well, it's the first book in a series. You kinda have to put a lot of stuff in there." And I'm like, "Yeah, I know. I get it." But if somebody's telling me it's kind of a slow read, I don't want that to be, like, the first impression people get. So I'm hoping that this copy editing service will kinda help tighten up, um those first 10,000 words, and book one will just be all the better for it. If not, then I will use her service elsewhere. But yeah, so all that's going well. I am planning a little short story to include as a thank you gift on the newsletter, reader magnet, it's referred to. Um, and it's going to be taking place when the girls were in college. I think that's about as far as I know. I'm still, short fiction is not my strong suit. I'm not a big reader of short stories, and brevity is just not my thing. Those of you who know me or have watched these updates this year, um, yeah, brevity is not my thing. So, yeah, I'm gonna be working on that concurrent, with getting book one ready to go, and be published at the end of the month. Ooh, and let's just talk about, for the fact that okay, it's October now. It's technically fall, even though the weather outside is trying to ignore that it's fall. It'll come around sooner or later. And that this is week 39. That means it's 3/4 of the way through the year. We have 1/4 left to go. I mean, I was just making plans with family members for Thanksgiving, which, yeah, that's coming up. Um, yeah, so go figure. Anyway, the other thing I wanted to mention, before I close out this week's update, is something I've been experiencing, and I didn't have a good name for it at first, but I finally figured out what it was. Because I've been having this peculiar sensation when I'm working on the coloring book pages, or I'm working on the drafts of my book, or, whatever it is I'm working on, and these are things that are coming from me. This is my work, my effort. I've been happy with them. I know that sounds strange to say as a strange or unusual feeling, but let me explain. So I've been pleased with my output. I've been impressed by how much I'm able to get done. Now, granted, part of that is just having the luxury of time, for which I am so grateful. Part of it is I've never had this much time to concentrate on my own creative work as a priority, and that is huge. That is huge, and I understand that that's part of it. But growing up in my 20s, 30s, etc., so childhood on through, just to be clear, um, I don't know about you, but I was taught we're not supposed to be proud of what we do. We're not supposed to seek attention for the things we do. We're not supposed to put ourselves out there because it's better that somebody else notice and put us forward than to put ourselves forward. It is a sin to be prideful. It is a sin to be proud. And couple that with the you have so much potential, but are you really living up to it? Or you're so smart you could be doing blah blah blah, or you're smarter than this. All of that negative talk about, you can do so much more, or it's not good enough. Combine those two elements and you get a severely damaged sense of self-worth, which is something that I've been identifying and working on with my therapist over the last almost year now. Um, but it was just these last few weeks that I've noticed that I've been feeling this pride and sense of accomplishment and sense of enjoyment and fulfillment and positivity around my own work without the baggage of, oh, I could have done this better. Oh, I mean, it's not that I don't see the flaws. Artists, creatives, we're always our own worst critics. So I see, I see things that I could do better. I see things that I could change. And thankfully, I am not a perfectionist anymore. But so I'm okay with it not being perfect because perfection is unattainable. But what I'm getting at, roundabout, is that I'm happy with my work and I'm not immediately coming in and saying, "Oh, this could have been done better, or that could have been done better, or I know this is wrong, but it's okay. It's good enough, I guess." There's no qualifying on it. I'm happy with it. And that is huge. And so finally this week, I'm talking to my partners about this and I'm like, wait, hold up. Is this what a sense of self-worth, a positive sense of self-worth feels like? Because I don't know that I've ever felt it like this before. And that is huge. That is a massive shift in my personal understanding. Now, granted, as soon as I figure these things out, nature abhors a vacuum, and I'm sucked down into, you know, the depths of despair by something else for a good 24 hours, and feeling inadequacies in other areas of my life. But you know what? I'll get there. I'll get there. I will find a balance. It's not a myth, at least not in this case. But yeah, so I don't know if and and I don't know, I haven't had a chance really to talk with other creators or other artists and find out yet if they've experienced this kind of shift. If they've always had, if you grow up with a supportive environment to that, you know, maybe this is the stuff that you have all your life. But for those of us who didn't grow up in as supportive an environment, or grew up with trauma or other things that damaged our sense of self-worth or called it into question in those very early years, well, yeah, I mean, are have others been able to regain that? And so yeah, it's a thing that's happened this week, and I don't have a nice neat bow to put on it yet, but I definitely think it's positive movement. And yes, I will be discussing it with my therapist at my next appointment, but that's not for a few more weeks. So, yeah, y'all get to hear it. At any rate, I'm sure this has been long enough. So now I'm going to let you go, let you get back to your Sunday or whenever you are watching this video. Thank you so much for joining me for another weekly update for Return to Creativity. I appreciate you. I appreciate your views, your comments. And even if you don't comment, it's okay. I appreciate you too. I see when the view count goes up. I am just glad you're here. Um, I hope that something I say somewhere along the way makes a difference for you. I hope that I hope that by seeing, someone kind of bumble their way through a year of ups and downs and, finally maybe hopefully coming out on top-ish because we can't do absolutes yet. I haven't gotten to the point where I can do absolutes. Um, that it helps you in wherever you are in your journey. But aside from that, I just appreciate you so much, and I wish you the best in this coming week, and I'll talk to you again next weekend. All right. Bye-bye.